What's good, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? JDaisy here with the JDaisy Gaming Channel, here with Mind the Vikings. This is a little tiny sandbox strategy town building game that is out on Steam. It came out on January 5th, 2018. Big in big bold letters. This is in early access. It's currently retailing for $10.99. It is in early access. By the way, did I say it's in early access? I only say that because I have a couple problems with it, but I think over time they will be fixed. I'm just going to read the description real quick because that's kind of what caught my attention was, allow me to welcome you to the land of the Vikings, a land where you can build a village full of silly Vikings, each with their own weird and quirky traits. So what is this? If you remember my videos on Forest Village, or Life is Feudal Forest Village, or Banished, two of my favorite city builders of all time. Absolutely adore those games. Those games, and I've lost more time than I'd care to ever admit in those games. Would be in that same vein, but we're playing in the same ballpark area, but not the same game. This is that same level of you're going to build a town, you're getting people, but this is definitely a quirkier, kind of sillier, kind of more relaxed experience. You get villagers, from what I can tell, at just random intervals. A very, very, very loud horn will play, and you'll just get another villager. And after playing for probably about 5-6 minutes, you'll probably actually see the moment I get to it. I realized that you have to assign the villagers to the tasks by grabbing them and like shoving their face into what you want. So like, I need you to cut trees, and they will cut trees forever until you tell them otherwise. Or I need you to collect berries, because I kept running out of food, and it was because I had no one dealing with berries. Also, it kind of says the weird and quirky traits. I really didn't notice that many, like, oh, it's not like Don't Starve or Oxygen Not Included, where you have very distinct positive and negatives to people. In this, you don't really choose people. You're just given them. You click on it, and it spawns you in a new person. And it really does not... There's no plus and minus to each person, other than I notice some people get in fights more often than not. And when you break up a fight, it'll say morale or negative morale over both person. I have yet to figure out what that morale goes to. I've never had the people revolt or anything like that. Also, one of the bugs I've noticed is you can build a guard post. And the guard post is supposed to lower that level of fighting and make sure your people get along. I've built the guard post. I've built 2 guard posts, and I have yet to see any decline in the amount of squabbles my people get in, or little slappy fights. That morale system could just be a later implementation, and they haven't got to it, or something like that, and I just haven't seen it yet. But I it should at least say that. Also, something that's kind of annoying is certain the amount of buildings you can build is pretty limited, which is alright. I can get behind that. But building certain buildings are locked behind walls that you need a certain level of person to be able to pass. But to get that person, you just have to hope the god of spawning people gives you the person you want. And so to get a farm, you have to have like a level 3 agriculture person. Well, picking berries, I think you could get to that level 3 agriculture, but it would take forever. So you just hope you get spawned somebody, and that can take forever. So until then, you're always kind of constantly trying to make sure you get food through gathering and such before you can build farms. And like I said, there's not that many buildings to build. I think there's about 6, plus some like roads and stuff. And I really like the way the road building is. You just kind of draw it and it builds it. It really doesn't seem to give that much of a plus, other than a nice connective. If you go on the Steam page and see some of the pictures on there you could build some really, really nice looking villages, and I'm not knocking that at all. The game is pretty. I kind of enjoy the cartoony vibe. It's very nice of a laid back game as opposed to those other two I kind of mentioned. I have nothing immediately wrong with the game. especially at the price point I paid. I'm just saying there's some bugs and there's some stuff that I don't quite understand its purpose. Also, I'm a little disappointed in a game called Mind the Vikings. A big thing of Viking culture that a lot of people will think of when they think of Vikings are the longboats, are seafarers, are anything. And from the best I can see, there's no water anywhere in this. I really hope that's something that gets added later because that's a major thing of Viking culture is seafarers or fishermen or explorers or if we wanted to get really craft with it, they're barbarians in a sense, but that's kind of later. Also, there's no livestock, there's no animals, there's no animal husbandry, there's not even deer running around the forest. And when I say forest, as you can see, the trees are kind of sparse together, kind of adding to that cartoony vibe, but still, it's just the cartoon kind of gives and takes. It gives a very relaxed feeling, it gives a very game feeling. I'm playing a game, which is great, no problem. Flip side of that coin is it's really hard to take some of the stuff seriously. And as somebody that's really in love with city builders and management games, you kind of need a level of seriousness to this. After about I think I recorded the footage you're watching now. I think I recorded for about an hour and a half, and at the end of that hour and a half, had built everything I could build. I had more people than I could ever use, and I was done. I mean, I had reached the max. It was just a matter of just getting more people and building more houses and eventually building more farms. There was nothing else for me to do. There was no goal. There was no tech tree. There was nothing. Which also brings up another concern is you mine stone. And you get stone, as you can see, it's one of the three resources up in the left-hand corner. You got food, wood, and stone. And the stone, unless it's used in a few buildings and I just never noticed it, it doesn't appear to be used at all. So I barely had anyone mining it. I think I had one person mining it, and that was because he could not get along with anyone else. If I had him anywhere else near anyone, he would not work. He would fight with everyone. So I said, screw it. You're going to go mine in the quarry. That's where you live now. So that was the only person I had mining stone, but because you never used it, you only needed wood to build houses, to build farms, to build roads, to build anything. You just needed wood. As opposed to the other game I've been playing now that's in early access, Austriov. It's a little indie game similar to this. Another city builder. That you need all sorts of resources to do anything. You need to build nails. You need to build boards. You need that. So this is kind of a give and take. That one's a little more serious. This is a little more cartoony. But like I said, I really don't have any. I can kind of gloss over a lot of those concerns because it is in early access, and I can gloss over some of the more laid backness because it's a $10 game. It's not a AAA game. It's not trying to be a AAA game from what I can see, especially judging by the read the developer put out. They've trying to make a kind of silly or quirky little city builder. I don't know if I'd go that far, just because the people don't have. The fact that they kind of have these little traits are very minimal in the diversion of it. It doesn't affect me all that much if I have a person that is a glutton or something like that. It's just, okay. It doesn't affect me. The only thing that affects me is if they are an angry person, they get in fights all the time. That's about the only thing because that stops production. It really doesn't stop production. Other than those two people are not working at that current second. Because if you break it up, you lose morale. If you don't break it up, you lose morale. So no matter what you do, you're going to be affected morale level, but there is no morale level. So you just kind of go, okay, I guess. I always break them up. But that's just because I'm like, I don't get out of here. Stop. Go back to work. Yeah. But I'm mainly doing this video because it's a nice little game. I like it. I have a soft spot in my heart for city builders. What can I say? Especially medieval city builders. One that's kind of trying to be a Viking game. I can get behind it. At $10, $11, I can get behind it. especially this. So if it's, and like I said, it's in early access, which that's always a give and a take of early access games. Put it on your radar, guys. If you like city builders, maybe check back in a while. Maybe when it gets fully released, maybe when it gets a big update, stuff like that. You know the drill with early access, especially if you're a PC gamer. But I want to do this video, throw it out there, let you guys know, hey, there's a pretty neat, kind of unique city builder out there. But as always, that's just my opinion. We're all in this one together, guys. See you in the next one.